Okay, there I am. Cool. Alright. Let's see. Just fixing stream stuff at the moment. Let's see. Just fixing stream stuff at the moment. Okay, cool. Shit is working. Alright, let me go to everything. Ooh, that's not what I want to click on. Oh well, whatever. I think it's working or something or whatever. Yeah, alright, whatever. I'm not gonna worry about that. It's live, everything is working, so I'm not too worried. Anyway, yo, I'm online. I think the last time I streamed, I think Twitch said it was like 23 days ago or something. I think it was like right before spring break or something, right? Yeah, I started my little Pokemon challenge then. So it was like, what was it? Like the Friday before spring break, right? Friday before spring break, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go through like all of the like Pokemon games, and I'm going to like nuzlocke through these like, you know, enhancement ROM hacks and do all that stuff and like do my marathon of replaying all the games, right? And I was like, I'm gonna just stream it and I'm just gonna be chilling or whatever, like it's gonna be good and all that stuff. So yeah, so I started that. And then spring break hit, right? Now, where I'm located at, like, spring break hit, and for, like, there were 2 different spring breaks for the school districts near me, right? So the first school district had their spring break here, which is, like, the one that I'm, like, located in, and, like, my family is in, so, like, my siblings, like, had their spring break and everything, right? And then the next school district had their spring break the week after, right? Now, where I work, like, because I have a job, because I'm an adult and all that, I work with kids and youth and stuff like that, right? So I am like from multiple districts, so I'm actively having to deal with like different spring breaks happening at a time. So I just didn't really stream, not only because there were like people at home all the time because people were just off school, also both my parents work in school districts, right? They're both teachers, so it was like one of them works in one school district, the other one works in the other, so it was like everybody was just home for 2 weeks, you know. And I was having to work a little bit more because kids were off, so they were like, we had more events being held and stuff, so I was working those. And then those 2 spring breaks finished, right? The next week comes, and over spring break I got a promotion, so now I'm working, you know, a little bit more. So then the week after those 2 spring breaks finished was my next one, and it was just like me like getting like I don't know, getting myself in order with my new position and like all the new responsibilities and stuff that I have to do. So I was just like, you know, I don't have time to do all this because like things are changing, things are happening. Oops, just hit my mic. So yeah, but it's been good. It's been very good. Had a few like stuff happen too, like doctor's appointments and things. I like, what is it? I forgot what I was saying. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, okay, that's what it was. Doctor's appointments. So, yeah, I have seasonal allergies, right? Like all my life, I'm like, yeah, I got seasonal allergies. Like they're a little bit bad or whatever, but you know, it's nothing crazy, right? It's like a little bit loud with the music. The Tunic soundtrack is a bit louder than the Pokemon soundtrack. Yeah. So it's like seasonal allergies are like there, blah, 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 sniffle, sniffle, cough, cough, sneeze, whatever, right? But then like at some point, I think it was probably like 2022, like around that fall, like my allergies started to get like a lot worse, right? It was like, whoa, like I am like kind of struggling to breathe sometimes. It's getting kind of like really hard to like kind of like keep my eyes like open and not itchy, you know. It was like popping Zyrtec every day, got that Nasacort nose spray, ibuprofen, cough drops, like the whole shebang shaboing boing, right? So that all happens, okay. Sorry, just messing with stuff on my left because my OCD is bothering me. And it starts getting to a point where it's really bad because I'm a music major and my specialty is voice, right? And so like, you know, if I was working a desk job or whatever and I'm like, wow, you know, these sniffles are really bad, but thank God I can still type on my keyboard. But with like singing and everything, it was like, whoa, like this, like I just can't do my career. Like I'm showing up to my voice lessons and my private lesson teacher is like, hey, and I'm like, hello, right? And like I can't do anything. So it was like really bad. So I was just like, you know what? I just gotta go get the allergy test done, right? I started like got my insurance in order, started actually going to the doctor and doing things, right? And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to allergist. Well, I had to go to doctor so they could refer me to go to an allergist, right? So then I had my allergist appointment, right? And so they like come in. By the way, like the allergy test happened on Monday, and I've still got like remnants of like bumps on my arm from like where they did it, because they come up, right? They have like this whole thing and they like press it on your arm in like different spots with like, they have like 8 different like, if you imagine like little, like a little like Lego stud, right? And there's like a little board that has like, it's like 2 by 5, right? And then they have 8 of those little boards. So they come and they press one on your arm and they press another one right next to it. They press another one right below it, and they keep going, like they put like 4 on each arm, right? And then you do that test and all that. And then like, you know, you wait for like 15 minutes while they have like different liquids in those little things that are like different allergy stuff, right? Like some are types of grasses, some are types of trees, like all this stuff. And so they wait 15 minutes so they can see bumps form on your arms, and how big that bump forms is how like allergic you are to it, right? So like they do it, he comes and like measures the bumps and everything. The doctor comes in, you know, after getting the like everything in order, looking at my bump sizes, how allergic I am and all that stuff. So he comes in and he's like, damn, and he pulls out this chart, right? And I'll like show it from over here because it's got information on it. So, but like, go ahead and look at that, right? You see all those colors? Usually people like get that chart and they have like a few of those like boxes highlighted, and that's what they're allergic to specifically, right? That whole chart for me is almost highlighted, meaning that I'm allergic to almost the entirety of everything. And then anything that's like, you know, in like blue, orange, pink, that's not like the yellow highlighter, right? Is stuff that I'm like super high extreme risk or whatever, right? And he's just like, damn, you're just allergic to fucking everything. Like, and of that list, like a lot of the stuff in yellow are like some types of like trees and like animals and stuff, but like every single type of grass is like highlighted in like blue and orange, which is like the worst. And so yeah, so that was interesting. Yeah, I don't, it's just, my hair is really bothering me. But yeah, it was very interesting to know that, wow, my allergies were so bad, and they were so bad for a reason. Like, I'm not tweaking or anything. Well, I am tweaking, but like, it wasn't like just all in my head, right? Anyway, all that to say, allergies are pretty bad, and yeah, I am getting help for those now. Anyway, where's my water? Why did I come to sit here and talk without actually getting water? I'm gonna go grab some. Okay, so this bottle is definitely only like half full, so I'm probably gonna need to refill it at some point. But that is for me to worry about in a little bit. Oh, and you know what? Cough drop bag, goated cough drop bag. That is also going to be a necessity if I'm going to be talking for a bit. Anyway, 10 minutes of talking. All that to say that I just want to yap about shit. I don't know if you can tell by my bios or anything. I just like to stream, just to talk, even if it's just to myself, right? Every once in a while somebody will pop in and say something, but I just kind of like to talk to myself. Haven't streamed for a little bit and was like, you know what, like, I just want to do it. So let's go ahead and get on with talking, get on with yapping a little bit. So what's the order of operations? I guess I should talk about like a little bit about the next few stuff, right? So the days that I'm really like working now that I'm settled in, I'm working like Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, potentially some Fridays, right? So with that, I think if I'm streaming, it'll probably be like Tuesday, Thursday, and some Fridays, maybe some Saturdays, right? I would have streamed yesterday with the Nintendo Direct, but I just really didn't wake up. I just really didn't feel like waking up early to do that. But I will do the Nintendo Direct on the 2nd, which is next Wednesday. So I will do that. So no worries there, right? Yeah. So I'll have that. Don't worry about that. Trying to think real quick. Here, let me pause while I open some stuff to make sure things are going okay. Anyway. Alright. Whatever. Close and deal with all that stuff later. I don't really mind. So. Okay, that's an order. Anyway. So for the future, getting back onto that. Sorry for that moment of silence. You could use that for whatever. Yeah, thinking like Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays, if I do anything, if I just feel like turning on a camera for whatever reason. Thank you, Connor Lake City, for the awesome saxophone solo. I love you. I'll stream the Nintendo Direct for this Nintendo Switch 2 on Wednesday because that's an important one, and I'm very excited for that. Yeah. Oh, the Marvel Rivals Championships are happening. I do kind of want to watch that, but actually maybe I'll pop in and look at that. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and open a new window, and let me open it over here. If I'm gonna look at let me check out the Marvel Rivals Championships real quick. See on that. But I do want to watch that later.
Minecraft.
Marvel Rivals Championships. Actually, let me see if there's actually any YouTubers who are doing streams at the moment on it. Boom. Oh, Coach Mills. Flats. What is playing Minecraft? Just trying to see who's at the top of the Marvel Rivals live right now. No, I think they're just... Yeah, no, nothing crazy. Alright. That's fine. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna open up another new window. I don't know why I just closed that one. Let's start off with this, right? Let's go get into Tier Maker. Tier Maker, please. Marvel Rivals tier list. I want a good looking one with all the characters. That is only... Is that all of them? I don't see... Oh no, the thing is there. That's all of them. That one doesn't look terrible. Ooh, all maps. Oh no, it doesn't have them separated though. I'll make my own maps so I have the pictures for that. That one's alright. I'm just trying to find ones that look good, you know? Alright, you know what? This one is okay. I'm gonna duplicate this. No, let's go ahead and change this first. S A B C D, and then we will add a row below, and this will be in red. We will have you be F tier. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and duplicate this tab, and I'm actually going to bring it out and bring this stop. Hello? Okay, close you. Goodness. Alright, how about you go here on the right, and then this one here on the left. Alright. Let's switch over to my screen. Oh, whoops. That's not what I want. Let's go ahead and close that out. Turn off my run counter. Here we go. This is just background stuff. Let's go ahead, browser slash window. And let's turn on that. There we go. Alright, here we are. This should be good. Okay. Things are okay. Turn up the Tunic soundtrack just a tiny bit while this is going on, yeah? Make sure that this is visible and everything, but I think we're all good. Alright, so here now, I've put two tier lists side by side. I have no clue why it looks so dim. Oh my god, wait, hold up, chat. Why does this look actually like so dim? Okay, there we go. Is that good? I think that's good. That fixed the brightness issue. I have no idea why that was so dim over there on OBS. Okay. Anyway. Yay! Everything's good. Let's go ahead. Let's switch over to the Marvel Rivals, all that stuff. Because I don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and all that stuff. Anyway, alright, cool. So I've got two lists here side by side. These are the two hero tier lists I want to do, right? I think here on the left, what I want to do is kind of just like a general, like, I would say like how good this character is in just general play, right? If you are going through like quick play, if you are going through like low rank matches and stuff like that, is what the stuff on the left would be, right? Stuff on the right, I would probably say are more along the lines of like make your high rank stuff, right? Should probably let's see, go ahead. Yeah, that's good. So I'm actually gonna put a little text thing. Let's put a little text. Let's see. We'll say slash and we'll branch out, and then we will do okay, that seems fine, yeah. This is so massive on my face. Okay, we'll put it like here. Where should I move this to? It's kind of, actually, you know what, we'll put it here at the bottom. Put it here at the bottom because I shouldn't have to scroll all too much. So let's scoot it over a little bit. There we go. That works, right? Alright. So there's the low elo, high elo separation. God, that looks so scuffed. Yeah. Anyway. So this is our low elo side. This will be our high elo side, right? And I think, I don't know if I want to go bottom to top. No, I'll just go in alphabetical order. It makes it easier. If I had like set this up beforehand and everything, I probably would order it bottom to top, right? But I didn't, so I'm just gonna go normal. I know everybody's made their tier list. I know everybody's done their thing, but I just like to yap, especially because I don't really have anything to do today. That's really pressing or anything. I just kind of want to enjoy my Saturday doing just shit. So yeah, let's go ahead and shoot the shit. Starting with Adam Warlock. Adam, he's such an interesting character, and he's gotten really, really good as the seasons have gone on, right? I don't know who was and wasn't there in the beta or everything, right? Because I didn't play that. I came to the game like a week or two after it launched because I had a friend who was really big in Overwatch, was like, dude, you should totally play Marvel Rivals with me, right? So that's when I got into it and everything. Got an eyelash in my eye. And like during season 0, Adam, I think people like was like Adam is like the worst strategist in the game, right? I think that was what was pretty unanimously agreed upon in season 0. Season 1 rolling around, he got some buffs, got a little bit better. Season 1.5 rolls around and he feels a little bit better, and then people start learning really how to like utilize him, how to properly utilize his soul bond, his charges, how much healing he puts out with his link heals, and figuring out like kind of their positioning a lot better. Especially with the high he's very mechanical, right? He can output so much damage. He can melt squishy targets with his burst fire so well. But you really have to hit your shots with him. He's mechanically intensive, but he's really good. And especially, right? Especially going into season 1.5, half the strategists are nerfed, right? Two that did not get nerfs are Adam and Mantis, who have a team up. The third in their team up is Star-Lord, who is like one of your top 5 DPSs right now, right? So it's just overall, Adam feels so good because that team up is like one of the best team ups right now. That team up comp is like phenomenal. You can see it pretty commonly within like a lot of high matches and stuff like that. I know the championships just happened, the 100 Thieves won. But in some of those, I watched a handful of those, and you can see like that trio come up occasionally. You can see it in high elo, like stuff like in Celestial and above and stuff like that. You can see that. Chat, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my notifications. I did not think my notifications were gonna pop up like that. Anyway, yeah, he's just really good. So I think in like high elo stuff, he's definitely A tier, right? Extremely good at high elo, high rank stuff, in tournament play, all that type of stuff. Really good. I would say for the average player in like low elos and quick play stuff, he's probably a C tier, right? I don't think any strategist or tank is really like a D or F tier range, but Adam still feels like probably like one of the worst 2 to play in like a low elo and quick play because he's so mechanically intensive and demanding, right? A lot of people just don't have a grasp of him at that point, right? Let's move on to Black Panther, right? And I think for both of these, I'm gonna say he's kind of like a low B tier, honestly, for both of them. Yeah. Well, I can't spell. Sorry. Yeah, he's kind of a low B tier in both of them, right? So the thing is, like, in low elo, people don't really know how to play him that well, right? I know he's got some tech to him, he's a little more straightforward, but they just don't have the mechanical skill to play him that well. The thing is, though, at low elo and stuff like that, people also just don't know how to play against him, right? That's the thing. So even if you're just like a half decent, half baked Black Panther, you can sometimes just do shit in their backline. They don't know what they're doing because it's just low elo, right? And so you can kind of get away with that, right? As you get into high rank, you get better, but people also know how to play against you a lot better. And out of the divers, Black Panther is probably like one of the worst, right? He kind of really relies on his chains and his combos. You break that up, you stun him, you start to like kind of dogpile him as he's diving. He can't really do much of anything, right? And unlike Spidey, where Spidey like gets in and out really quick, or can kind of like pull people out of position, do a million other things, right? Black Panther is like you mess up one thing and he's out of dashes, out of combos, and he just doesn't have his hitbox is very like just always on the ground, right? With Spider-Man, you're like all like a sphere, like you're just all in that sphere. With Black Panther, he's on the ground everywhere, right? So I don't know, it's just, yeah, so it ends up kind of just equalizing itself to a low tier kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, not low tier, it kind of equalizes himself up to a low B, from both things, because as you get better, everyone else gets better, and so it just is, yeah. Black Widow, low elo, I would say like, I think she's F tier in low elo because people just don't have the skill for her, right? She is a purely mechanical player, right? Character. There's some characters on here that are highly mechanical, but have some in mechanical intensive characteristics where like you can get away with it, right? You can see that in stuff like Adam, right? He's super mechanical in the way his damage and his shots are and everything. But if you're just pressing like heals and soul bond, well, you have to think about it a lot. There are like aspects to that that is not the most mechanically intensive, right? Going to something like Hela, right? She's extremely mechanically intensive with trying to get headshots, with trying to do all the things that you can for that. I was literally like in the middle of a sentence, and now that sentence is completely gone from my mind, right? Whoa, just completely missed everything over on my other screen. That was my bad, chat. Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. Because, yeah, Hela's like super mechanically intensive with like her headshots and everything. But like with like your right click, with your E, with your things, and especially with how much damage her body shots get, you can kind of get away with not having it. With Black Widow, it's like all or nothing with her, right? If you're body shotting with her, you're not doing enough, and they find out where you are really easily. And unlike Hela, where you have an invulnerability getaway tool, Black Widow kind of has her sprint, but you can easily kind of get taken out and dived, right? And she has her E, like her grapple kick, right? But it has like a 15-second cooldown, so it's hardly reliable like back to back, right? And so you really need that mechanical skill, right? When you get up to something, you know, higher elos and everything, I think she's like a low C. Once you start getting damage boosts, whether it's via Mantis or Storm or whatever, you can kind of start doing stuff with her, mechanically intensive. Like, you're a lot better with your positioning, a lot better with your damage output. So, like, you just have more options and more tools, right? So you don't have to worry as bad. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably where I put it, right? It's still like a low C, and like a high F, but it's really hard to get value out of her in low elo and quick play and stuff. And you're much better off in like higher ranks with that, right? Still not fantastic, still very low C, but I think people kind of sleep on her a little bit too much in high elos just because of the way people have talked down about her for so long, that it's like this and that, but like she's gotten better, right? And people are getting better. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to Captain America. I think like low elo, he is you know, I'm gonna put him in low B high B for now, maybe low A later. I don't know, we'll see. It could be either or, but that's where he's going for now. And then high elo, he's probably also getting the B list treatment, but lower in high elo, right? Your Captain America will just not die, right, if you're playing well, and especially in low elo, people just can't really focus you all that well. You can kind of get away with it, even if you're not the greatest Captain America, you won't die a lot, but you also don't provide a lot of value in low elo. You don't know tech, you don't know really what you're doing, you're just not dying, and you're just kind of annoying them, right? People much rather have a different Vanguard, right? High elo and stuff, you know your tech, you know you're annoying, you know you're not dying and all that stuff, but you're also not providing a whole lot of value to your team most of the time. People would much rather have, you could still be annoying with other tanks, right? If you're Magneto and you are poking and you are, you know, doing stuff all over the place, bubbling your team and stuff, you're providing a lot of value for your team still, a lot of pressure with your team still, but you're also better at like just outputting damage, making a lot more space and doing all that stuff, as opposed to Captain America, who really doesn't do all that. You just kind of hold space. You don't really take a lot of space with him, right? He also just doesn't output enough damage to really kill a lot of good backlines up in high elo, so it's just, he's just not the greatest, and I think his buffs really helped him a lot. He's pretty just consistently all right, but nothing crazy besides that. Cloak and Dagger are an S tier pick in low elo, high elo A tier, below Adam, I will say it. I don't think I'm crazy. I don't think so. Um, my nose is stuffy. Okay, anyway. So low elo like Cloak and Dagger is obviously fantastic, right? You have characters who just people playing, they just don't know how to aim. They don't know what they're doing. Like they're just doing willy-nilly fuck all, right? Cloak and Dagger is great for them because all they need to do is sit and hold left click and it'll just go to their allies, right? Every once in a while they'll press right click and make that healing bubble, right? It's really easy to use ult, pretty good utility. It just AoE healing with her daggers, right? Like it's just good, really easy to use low elo. I think we all know, like, your low elo Cloak and Dagger, tried and true, right? High elo, Cloak and Dagger just like kind of falls off, right? Her ult is very telegraphed and counterable by certain DPS ults, right? Especially like Magneto. I know it's not as easy now, but like it could still happen, not just with Magnetos, like with Namor or with a Groot, Moon Knight, stuff like her ult can be telegraphed to just get killed on, right? Her healing output is good, but it actually is not as like burst healing, right? Because Cloak and Dagger is most usually a main heal character, right? As opposed to like Rocket or Atom, who are your off heal characters. Cloak and Dagger is a main heal character, is probably the worst of the main heals. I would say if we're talking about the healing characters, there's 4 main heal characters and 4 off heal characters. Your 4 main heals are Cloak and Dagger, Luna Snow, Invisible Woman, and Loki. Those are your main heal characters. Your off heal characters are your Atom, Mantis, Jeff, Rocket, right? Because while those first 4 provide direct burst healing to whoever they're targeting, the final 4 can provide a lot of healing all at once or a lot of healing over time, but it's limited by some factor, right? Mantis has her charges, so she kind of can send out healing, which does a little bit of burst and then some over time, but it's all kind of like on that leaf healing cooldown, right? Atom, his healing is on a cooldown. Rocket does healing over time, right? And then Jeff just doesn't output as much healing. He kind of does his bubbles and his thing, but he also is mostly more DPS focused at right now. So like, anyway. So yeah, out of the 4 burst healers, all that to say, in high rank, Cloak and Dagger is the worst, right? Still good, don't get me wrong. Like if you have somebody who just doesn't know how to play anything else in Cloak and Dagger, and that's what they have to play, they'll be fine, right? But they're just definitely a lot better, and it's what moves them down into A tier in high rank, right? Doctor Strange. I think just like in both, he's just an S tier pick. I wouldn't say he's the best tank. No, he's definitely not the best tank in the game. I'd say in low elo though, it's kind of hard to find any tank that's better, because you have that shield with 800 health. When you have a shield with 800 health like that, it just kind of makes everything just so much easier, especially in low elo, right? You just sit there and hold up your shield, and then you just, left click a little bit. Your ult is just one of the most impactful ults in the game. Like it's crazy, right? And especially for low elo, because people know like he's big, a lot of people know how to play him in low elo, right? So you can usually find kind of a reliable one. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm alright with that. And especially because of his portal, it's really good for low elo, especially like when you are in low elo, you're usually using your portals because you die in a team fight, you're trying to get back, right? And that happens a lot. In low elo, you get stomped and you get back to a fight with the portal and change the tide of the battle, right? That's fine. It works really good. In high elo, you're doing stuff like portaling to a convergence point, portaling your Strange and Solo to ult their back line through a portal, portaling some, like blocking their options, restricting their movement by putting portals over their entrances or exits of places, right? But still just very valuable overall. One of the best abilities in the game. Yeah. So yeah, I think he's like an S in both. I think in high elo he's a low S, and then low elo he's a high S. So yeah, all that stuff. Moving on to Groot. Groot in low elo is probably a low A, and that's because people don't really understand how to use his walls, right? He's still really good. He's very tanky. A lot of people play Rocket in low elo, so like it's just you get that team up bonus pretty regularly. So yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. And like your walls, like even if you play them poorly, you can still at least get some decent value off of them, like blocking lines of sight or getting a little bit of damage, right? You can do some stuff with them, right? High elo, Groot is like the best tank in the game right now. He has so much tech on how you use your walls, how you output damage. His ult does so much damage and is one of the best setup ults in the game to combo with your Moon Knight, your Namor, with what your Iron Man, your Psylocke, whatever you're doing, right? Your star, like it's just one of the best setup ults in the game, along with Strange, right? And it also does damage in and of itself. Unlike Strange, that just kind of freezes and does a little bit of damage, Groot does consistent damage and sets up and brings them all into one place, which is another big thing. Strange freezes everyone in place, Groot brings them all together and does all that shit, right? So that's like another pretty dang big thing, right? Yeah, and there's just so much damage output, so much tech you can use with him if you're doing it right. Groot has been dominating so many high-level competitive matches, not just Celestial, not just Grandmaster, not just Eternity, not just One Above All, but also the championships, the scrims, all that stuff. Groot has been dominating, especially like you ban Wolverine, Groot just goes off the fucking rails, right? And even if you don't manage to get Wolverine banned, you can still, get certain allies on your team to help with that Wolverine matchup, because Groot is just almost too good to not play. And I know a lot of people have said this. There's been a lot of people who have made tier lists, right? And they're like, if Wolverine is banned, if you don't pick Groot, you're throwing, right? And I wouldn't go as far as to be like you're throwing if you don't pick Groot, but I'm like right at the edge of that. It is like, how could you not? If you know how to play a good Groot, how could you not? He's so good. I'm trying to learn him. I'm really not that great with him, but I'm trying to learn him just because he's so good, right? I'll go over characters I do and don't know later. I guess I could do it as I talk, right? Well, going through them right now, I play every single strategist. I know how to play them all well because I like playing strategist role, right? So I have plenty of insights into them. I play a lot of Doctor Strange because he was good in season 0 and season 1, so I learned how to play him. Groot, I just said I'm trying, but I'm not great. Cap, I tried. He's not the character for me. His playstyle is not. I don't know, it just doesn't mesh well with me. Same thing with Black Panther, tried, it's just not it for me. Adam, I play all the strategists, I like Adam. Black Widow, I do not have the mechanical skill for headshots with her. It's not me either, so. Neither is Hawkeye. I'm not very good with Hawkeye. He's also a very high mechanical player. Low elo, he is D tier. People just do not know how to position him. They will stand still and just try and aim a headshot for 20 seconds. And then let go and miss, right? It's crazy. People in low elo just cannot fucking play Hawkeye, right? It's kind of embarrassing. Kind of really funny. It's not really kind of embarrassing. I mean, it's low elo. Obviously, they don't have the skill for it. It's just kind of really funny. But yeah, no, people just cannot play him. It's a little bit better than Black Widow because you can still hit body shots and do consistent damage. Trick arrows can be useful in very niche cases. His ult makes it a little bit easier, right? Black Widow's ult kind of does some damage, AoE slow, but it's kind of so hard for people in low elo to line up their shots. Hawkeye though, you could just line up the after images, so you don't have to worry too much. Yeah, it's still really not good in low elo. High elo though, I would say Hawkeye's kind of picked up a steam a little bit. I would put him low A. People haven't really touched on him in so long that people kind of forgotten that he could still be pretty good. He still is quite nice, right? He's still got a pretty decent kit. Yeah, he's just pretty solid overall. I don't really have a whole lot to say about him. He's just kind of alright. Hella, yeah. Low elo, she's still Probably a B because as I said earlier, she's super highly mechanical, but you can still get so much out of her with just body shots, with her E, with her right click. You could still get so much value out of her, even if you don't have the mechanical skill because of the damage she outputs. Crazy, one of the 5 best DPS in the game right now. She's so good. She's kind of in a place in between season 0 and season 1 right now. In terms of her like ability. Another cough drop. And so she is absolutely phenomenal right now, right? Great against long rangers, great against flyers, good at holding people, positioning, right? Your right click into E into left click is really great. You can 2-3 tap squishies and backlines. Your angling is really good, especially if you can position properly. She's just insane again. Not as broken as she was season 0. I think she's held in check by a few things, right? Especially with group walls, being able to break lines of sight and stuff like that are really good to kind of block Hela. Shield tanks like Mag and Strange are good for kind of blocking her stuff. But I feel like that's offset because Loki's really good, and the Loki Hela team up is phenomenal, right? Probably another one of the best team ups right now because both of them are so good. Because it's kind of similar how to like Adamantis Star-Lord are, just like the Loki Hela just is so good, right? Probably don't include Thor there because there's other tanks you'd definitely rather play at high level, right? But you can like low elo, but it's so good, right? Just yeah. Moving on next, Hulk. Put Hulk here in low elo. He's alright. He's very tanky. He has a lot of ways to get in and out. People just don't really know how to play him in low elo. But he just kind of absorbs so much damage that people just are right with him, you know? Especially between his shield and his little gamma beam and the fact that he doesn't die immediately. He turns into Banner. So, like, it's alright, you know? Yeah. High elo. I would say he's also B. Hulk was very dominant in season 1, was banned all the time. He is not as good anymore. There's not as much reason to play him because the Gamma team up is not as good anymore. And I think the biggest factor is that Hulk is outclassed by the Thing very hard. It's just like, why, you know, I would probably put Hulk in A tier, but because the Thing exists, I move Hulk down to the top of B tier, because it's kind of like, why ever play Hulk when you could play the Thing, right? Hulk jumps in and out of battle with his jump. Thing jumps in and out of his battle with his E, right? Hulk jumps into battle in shields. Thing charges into battle, gains 200 extra health, can't be moved, can't be immobilized, can't be pulled by Bucky, can't have any of this stuff, right? Gives his teammate shield with his E anyway. Hulk has a projectile. The Thing's right click is a projectile in and of itself, right? If you look at the hitbox on the Thing's right click, his charge punch, that thing goes so far. If you have 3 people lined up back to back to back, right? Like there's 2 tanks in the front line and a healer right behind them, or DPS right behind them, you can hit all 3 of them at the same time with a Thing right punch, especially because it goes through shields. There's a Strange, a Mag, and like a Luna right behind them, healing them both. You punch and you hit all 3 of them. It's crazy, right? The Thing is really good, has a lot of tech that you can take advantage of, and he just outclasses the Hulk in every way, and so that's why Hulk gets moved down to B tier. Human Torch. Here's one character. I think every character so far has been like, except for I guess some of these ones that are S tier up in low elo, but like so many of these, like as you get to high elo, are just better, right? Human Torch is one of those where I'm like, it is decent in low elo and just gets worse in high elo, right? Low elo, you can kind of be a nuisance with your flame pools, with your barriers that you can create with your E. You just kind of do like consistent, just like little like side damage all the time, right? I mean, just what it is. D tier though in high elo, he gets so shut down by like Star-Lord, Psylocke, Hela, Winter Soldier, Namor, like literally your 5 best DPS in the game you get shut down by, right? Also doesn't do that well against other flyers. His kit just doesn't synergize that well within and of itself, right? It just, the buffs helped him. You know, the buffs that they gave him in between season 1. No. The buffs that they gave him a few weeks ago. Yeah. Those helped him. But he's still not great. Invisible Woman. That's an S tier for low elo and a mega S tier for high elo. I would say in high elo, she's probably the 3rd best healer in the game. Low elo, she is probably the 2nd best healer, right behind Cloak and Dagger. She's really good, and despite her stars, has great ease of use. Excuse me. Especially because her projectiles pierce, they go through your allies, through enemies, and then back through enemies and allies. Really good ease of use. Her shield, deployable shield, is really great for healing and for blocking stuff. Her ult is very simple and easy to use and really powerful. Her push and pull is great for positioning and stuff. I think at low elo, you're really just kind of spamming your left click and your right click and maybe your shift, because people just kind of forget about the tools that they have, and you do so much with just your left and right click alone that you're just not worried about it too much. High elo though, there's so much great stuff you can do with your pushes and pulls to knock people out of position. What I've seen recently with like Invisible Moments, because Groot is so good, he doesn't have a whole lot of mobility though. Every time you have your pull on Invisible Woman, just pull Groot in towards your team. Just keep pulling them in and getting them away from their team, away from their walls and everything. I've seen that happen a lot lately, and it's actually been quite effective on Groots. Anyway, your grenade, your little psionic blast, psionic force kind of bubble thing or whatever, is good to knock down flyers, get people out of certain positions, block certain entrances, exits. It's so good. It's so good. Iron Fist. I'd say in low elo, like, it's like a high C tier, right? You just kind of like the immortal Iron Fist, right? You just don't die. Get in, mess with them, be a nuisance, to come back out, heal, rinse, repeat, right? They butchered him, bro. They butchered him. He is not good in high elo whatsoever. They kind of made him into, because Wolverine is a tank buster through and through. Like, they went all into him, his percentage damage, he's a tank buster through and through. Iron Fist, they try to make it to a hybrid. They try to make him a Black Panther Wolverine hybrid, where he's like, yeah, he dives, he messes with you, he annoys you, but he also like busts and brawls your tanks and takes their health. And now he's trying to do a jack of all trades thing, and he is a loser at all. Not just a master of none, but a loser at all. They completely just ruined his kit, right? He doesn't have enough HP to brawl tanks on front line, but because of his percentage damage, he can't kill things on the back line. It's like he just has his survivability now. He just doesn't do things, and it's so frustrating because he was alright before, and now like high elo, like you will never see an Iron Fist. Even like the Lord Iron Fist players in Celestial. I watched some guy who's a Lord Iron Fist, and he was like, dude, I don't fucking play Iron Fist since the patch, because like he literally provides 0 value in high elo, right? It's extremely unfortunate. I really hope they revert the changes that they did to him, because yeah, it's sad, right? It's really sad. Anyway, enough on Iron Fist. Let's move on to the other Iron of Man. Iron Man, like low elo, probably like probably mid B, right? Your mobility in the air is really fast with your shift, and so a lot of people in low elo just don't have the mechanical skill to really hit you out of the air, right? You're in the air and you're just shooting down those AoE blasts, and they can't really do much to you if they can't aim, right? They gotta have some kind of tech to pull you down, whether it's Invisible Woman's kind of little boom, 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 you know, sphere, psionic sphere, that knocks down flyers a little bit. But even then, you can fly away. You're really sustainable because you can fly to health packs really quickly. And with the buff they did him, they made him a lot less reliant on the Gamma team up, right? Iron Man used to be really bad unless he was with the Gamma team up, in which cases he was really, really good, right? When he has the Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, when he had the Gamma team up before, that was when he did his good damage, right? Now they buffed his beam on his chest and his repulsor blasts without the Gamma team up. So he does close to the same amount of damage. Not the exact same, right? But he does close to it without the Gamma team up, which also inadvertently made Hulk a little bit worse. So which is why Hulk got knocked down a peg, right? But yeah, Iron Man just kind of just is a lot more self-sustainable. He's less reliant on his team up. He's less reliant on his healers. He's just pretty good at just like doing his own thing, right? High elo though, bro does not really get as much done, right? He's still not terrible. I wouldn't like, call it a throw pick or anything if it was on my team, right? But he doesn't get as much done. He's really good kind of just at annoying people, kind of melting people with beams and if they're isolated, all that type of stuff. But aside from that, like, yeah, he's good. He's all right. High elo, he's mid. Low elo, he's pretty good. All right, Jeff. Oh, this is so interesting. Okay, Jeff in low elo. Probably like here in C tier. A lot of people in low elo kind of see him as a strategist, as a healer, as a support, right? Which is his like official role, right? And so a lot of people low elo just kind of want to like spam his bummels, spam his little water stream and kind of heal people, and that's good, right? That's fine. But in high elo, you start getting into stuff with like DPS Jeff, right? You're flanking Jeff. You're playing, oops, wrong. You're playing triple support. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, you're playing triple support with a Luna, right? You've got a Luna, and I guess like maybe like Luna Loki or some Luna Invisible Woman or something like that, and then a Jeff, right? And your Jeff is not a third support; it's like a 2.5, right? He can spit out bubbles and support if he needs to, but most of the time he's going off and flanking and pressing X or his team up ability button, and then spamming those ice shots into their backline and slowing them down, damaging them, using bubbles for himself, healing himself, just being a nuisance, right? And that works pretty well in high elo, to be honest. Low elo people don't know that though, and they're just trying to heal. And if you're just trying to heal, he's only marginally better than Adam because his healing's not on a cooldown. Now going to Loki. Low elo, I put him the very bottom of B tier, right? People do not know how to Loki. He's hard to play, and people just don't really know what they're doing on him. Honestly, no, that's wrong. He's going with Adam here. They're kind of like tied neck and neck. Adam and Loki are very mechanically and mentally intensive characters. People have no idea what they're doing. People genuinely just have no clue, like, about anything. And so it's hard for them to play. High tier, though, Loki is unbelievable. Probably the second, maybe first best healer in the game. It's, you know what? I would call him the best strategist in the game. As a strategist, Luna is like a healer. Loki is a strategist. I'll say that. There we go. Loki is number one at that role. And let's not waste any time at Luna. Right there. Number one and number two right there. If you want to play high elo, you want these two as your strategist. If you're going double strategist, if you're going triple, you can mess with it a bit, right? If you can go like Adam, Mantis, Luna, you can go Invisible Woman, Luna, Jeff, right? But you always want this Loki Luna anytime you can, right? It's too good not to pass up. Low elo, she's an A just because you need to aim a little bit more with Luna, and not just with her primary, but also with her freeze and everything. People just aren't as good as that, right? You're much better with Invisible Woman Cloak, right? Let's go ahead and go on. Yeah, anyway, sorry, got a notification. Let's go on to Magic now. Magic and low elo is, I would probably honestly put both of these in the A tier. Low elo Magic is not the, like, you spend a little bit of time with Magic and it's not the hardest to kind of pick up at a base level, and a lot of people can't really deal with her too well at low elo, kind of similar to what I said about Black Panther, right? But just magic is a little bit better with the shields that she gains from damage, with her ability to be invulnerable with portals, and kind of maneuver in and out. Excuse me, I was hiccuping. High elo, there's just a lot of like tech you can use with her. She's just really solid consistently. She has a very high win rate across multiple ranks, and just pretty solid overall. I just like a very, very solid DPS character. I think out of your melee DPS is probably your best one. Magneto, S rank, low S. People aren't in low elo, right? People aren't as solid on like their bubbling and their positioning with him. They don't realize his bullets have kind of a range. They die at a certain, they fall off at a certain point and just explode, right? People think they can kind of just poke from super far and they're just doing nothing, right? Which, like, that's fine, you know? Yeah. And so no worries on that. High elo though, like, Mag is probably, oh, that's so hard. I don't know if he was second or third best tank. I think probably second because of his versatility, right? Yeah. I'll get to that later. But Mag's versatility is fantastic. He just works with any comp, right? You're running double tank. The thing is, like, right, if you're running Groot, you're probably not running Groot Thing. Because Thing might, be blocked by your walls, can't get in and out, might punch them, and, if you're running, like, Thing Thor, that's not good, right? If you're running, like, Strange Groot, it's like, right? You're running Mag. Mag works with anything, right? Mag Groot. Fantastic, right? You're playing a little bit more on point. You're bubbling people. You're playing defensive, right? Mag Thing. You're bubbling your Thing. You're playing aggressive. You're poking with Thing. You're playing Mag Thor. You're bubbling your Thor, and you're backing him up. Mag Strange. You're playing double shield, right? Mag just works with any tank. He's just like the perfect glue for your comp. And so I'd say while Groot is like the best tank, like just in a vacuum, Mag is like the best tank overall because of his versatility and his adaptability with any comp, right? Doesn't matter what strategist, what other tank you're running, whether you got a team up or not, whatever it is, Mag is the best, right? Now, I'm kind of going by vacuum, so that's why he's not there, but if I was going overall versatility and everything, he's up there with Groot, above him. Next, let's go to Mantis, right? Mantis for low elo, I'm going to put here, right? She is a 1-star character, and it's a little bit deceiving, right? Because I think any character that has their heals and stuff like that on a cooldown, I wouldn't put as a 1-star because you have to do a management of resources, and I don't think it's a 1-star level task, right? She's pretty still solid overall, right? Her ult is just a little, it's like a nerfed Luna ult, right? A little bit slower, but, well, I wouldn't say nerfed, it's just different, right? It has lower time duration, but Mantis can still attack and do stuff while she's in her ult, unlike Luna, who can't do anything, right? She also gives healing and movement boost for anybody in it, which is nice. Management of resources, you get a self buff and damage and healing with your F. You can put out like a stun spore grenade. Healing, like when you heal somebody, you right click, you do a small amount of burst healing initial, and then a large amount of like healing over time. The thing that makes Mantis really good in high elo though, and why I put them over Cloak and Dagger, is because she is such a high skill ceiling, right? The way you choose between buffs and heals, the way you can kind of angle your throw grenades, and how when you get headshots and kills with her, you refresh your leaf counters to do more healing and buffing. And that's the thing that is hard for her in low elos, right? She's reliant on headshots and kills to kind of refresh her cooldowns, and that really works for her in high elo, but not as much in low elo, where people don't have the mechanical skill to get that consistently, right? So, and especially in high elo, she's even higher because the Adam Mantis Star-Lord team up is really good. So she's higher here. Yeah. Oh, alright. Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Fantastic. Oh. I will say Mr. Fantastic, like in low elo, can, like, he really kind of just shits on low elo sometimes, right? Like, people, he's kind of just, his, like, psh, 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 you know? His, like, arms kind of sweep and hit people. People just kind of take damage because they don't know what they're positioning for, right? He can kind of reflect damage and stuff. He kind of just too tanky for people to focus and kill him on, right? High tier, he's it's so bad. It's the same thing I was talking about with the Iron Fist players, right? Like Iron Fist mains happened, right? And then they did the change to Iron Fist, and Iron Fist mains were like, I don't play Iron Fist anymore because he gets no value in high elo. Same thing with Mr. Fantastic players, right? Mr. Fantastic players, a lot of them got to high elo where like, my Mr. Fantastic provides no value anymore. What the fuck, right? They changed how his ult charges, they changed how his ult works, they changed how the rest of his kit works, like they changed the way some of his cooldowns interact, and just kind of overall butchered the kit a little bit, like thinking about it, you know? It was just really unfortunate. Just really unfortunate for Mr. Fantastic overall. So, yeah. I don't know. There's a little bit of different tech with him with knocking back enemies into your team. There's a little bit of tech with like people have talked about like some people were like, oh, you know, he's not as bad as you think or whatever, but I'm like, compared to everything else, he just gets so little value, right? It's just, yeah. Moon Knight, I think like in your low elo stuff, like Moon Knight's fine, right? People like you just kind of don't notice you because you're so far away. You just kind of shoot and deal damage, and your ult is people can't play around your ult that well. It's fine. High elo, Moon Knight is really bad. He has a huge hitbox. He loses every 1v1 duel. People focus your onks too much for you to do anything. Yeah, people also target you because they know exactly where you are based off where the onk came from. Like, they know you're just kind of a free kill if they get you alone, right? It's unfortunate for the Moon Knight players, unfortunate for how Moon Knight is, but it is what it is. Anyway. Why is this, like... Go ahead and refresh this real quick. Yeah, there we go. Alright, there we go. Anyway. Let's go on. Sorry, I had to fix something on my left screen. Let's go to Namor. Yeah, this... Yeah. He's like the top. Sorry. You had to chew that cough drop. Namor is like the second best DPS in the game. It's just as simple as that, right? And the fact, like, low elo, S tier, right? His little squids will auto aim for you. People just don't shoot them in low elo, so you just get so much free damage, free ult charge, right? Your bubble just makes you vulnerable for so long, both in low and high elo. It's kind of fucking crazy how you can kind of move around in that thing. It lasts so long. And in low elo, right, the thing is, like, with Hela, her projectile hitbox is kind of small, so you really have mechanicals to go for her. For Namor, his projectile box on his trident is kind of big as fuck, so you can just kind of hit stuff so much with it, right? You can kind of just throw that thing and get headshots pretty reliably, even if you're just kind of thrown relatively into the top half of a character, and your squids just start double speed firing. It's crazy, right? So Namor just gets so much value both low and high elo. It's actually kind of insane. I don't really have much to say. Also, like, Luna team up, especially with Luna being so good, it's yeah, Namor is crazy. Namor's crazy. It's kind of insane. Penny Parker, low elo A. People just, it's like the same thing I talked about with like Namor and Moon Knight. They don't shoot your stuff. Penny is all about just laying stuff, right? You put down your nest, you put down your mines, you put down all the stuff, and people just don't notice. They don't look. They just die to you. You have such a quick CC cooldown on your web, grapple, little stun. It's so quick, good for ultimate canceling, good for just holding people and killing them. It's just really good. High elo, probably would put it like here in C tier, right? Bridge, it's really unfortunate, and her ult is really not good. People shoot your stuff way too easily. You can still get value out of your stun, out of your mines and everything, but you're kind of getting out healed more than you're out damaged because your primary fire is not that damaging. There's certain maps where she can be really good, right? Certain like domination and convoy maps, or no, domination and convergence maps, where she can be really good, right? Basically things where you have to hold a point, she can be pretty good on, and kind of just defending your entrances and your like, you know, just laying down traps that people have to get through. She can be really good in certain cases. My favorite thing, because Penny used to be my main tank in season 1 before I started learning other stuff. Because you know, I was like, oh, Penny's actually not that great. But anyway, all that to say that like you can kill like certain strategists through their ults with your mines. It's pretty cool. Yeah, just good overall. Let's move on now to Psylocke. I think like a low A in high elo, and a S in, I mean, low A and low elo, low S and high elo. Just really, really good overall. I think like it's just an A, she's just solid here in low elo, right? You have a lot of tools to kind of maneuver in and out of battle with your invisibility and your 2 dashes, and you can output just consistently good damage with her. So that's why she's in low A, because she doesn't get an S, because a lot of her kit hinges on reducing her cooldowns by damage and kills, right? The thing with Psylocke, right, is you are super damage focused, right? Your left and your right click are damage things. Your dashes are good for escaping, but what a lot of people don't know is when you dash with them, you can dash through multiple people, and it does damage. When you dash, you have your sword out in front of you, and so you know, slash people while you're dashing. So like a lot of times you can like dash and just do damage to like it's really good for finishing off people who are trying to escape, right? If you get somebody low and they're trying to like run away, you can dash kill them, right? But the thing is, with Psylocke, her cooldowns on her dashes, on her invisibility, on her right click and everything are kind of long sometimes. When you do a lot of damage and you get kills with her, it reduces the cooldown times. So when you're in S rank and you are like really focusing people down, you got targets, you are doing stuff like that, you can like sometimes play a game where you barely have to even think about your cooldowns, because you output so much damage and kills that you are just like not even like, you can just go like left, right, left, dash, left, right, you know, and you're just like killing things, and you don't have to worry about like your cooldowns at all. It's kind of crazy. Also very good at taking down flyers, good at kind of flanking, holding off angles, good from shooting from your backline. She's just very good in multiple positions, very versatile character, and also self-reliant with your maneuvering. You can collect health packs for yourself pretty reliably. So very just self-sustainable, very versatile DPS. Next, let's go to Rocket, right? Rocket gets a lot of slander, and I'm really not a big fan of how much slander he gets, not just from like what am I, a lot of streamers kind of slander him, right? And him and like some of the other guys, because he's not one of your main healers, he's an off healer, right? And a lot of his value doesn't come from just getting you heals immediately, it comes from his AoE heals over time, and the fact that he can res you every 45 seconds. He can res somebody, right? It's really good. A lot of big value with that, and people kind of sleep on him a lot. And it's very unfortunate, kind of people kind of shit on him, call him a throw pick or whatever, because I don't think any strategist is a throw pick at all. Yeah, but like it's, yeah, also his team ups are both good. I think for low elo and high elo both, like he's probably low A in both, right? Low elo, like you just spam right click and you don't do anything. A lot of people don't realize that your BRB here, PSA, this is your PSA service announcement. Rocket's BRB revive thing that you put down has a radius, it has a distance. You have to be within a certain distance to it to be revived, right? So there's so many rockets I see, even in high ranks sometime, but especially in low ranks when I was ranking up, would place their beacon at the very beginning of the match, like behind a point or like at the beginning of the cart capture or whatever, and have it there. People grab their armor packs or whatever. Sometimes people realize that that's what they do. And then that BRB would sit there all game, and they would just forget about it, or get destroyed and they would forget about it, or it would fight would happen over here, and like the BRB's all the way over there. People won't revive there once they get out of a certain range. You have to constantly press E to take down your BRB and put it up somewhere, right? PSA, you don't have to wait 45 seconds if you take it down and it's undamaged, right? You put down your BRB, it's undamaged, the fight moves up over here and you're out of range. Cancel your BRB, wait 5 seconds, and you can put it up closer to the new battle and you can get revived closer, right? A lot of people don't realize that BRB has a range. So please, if you ever played Rocket, realize that you need to take down your BRB and place it close to the fight. Not in the fight, you know, you don't want to get destroyed, but it has to be near, right? Anyway, still very good. Great at melting any placeables, right? Namor turrets, Penny nests, Groot walls, Punisher turrets, like great at melting these placeables with his Gatling gun. Great at just melting tanks whenever they dive up close, right? Venom gets up close, Groot gets up close, stuff like Thing gets up close, you melt them, right? Especially if you have a team up with Punisher or Winter Soldier, you really melt them. It's great. And just consistent like team heals because of the AoE that the balls give, right? Just very solid overall kind of everywhere. So it's good. Also, people shit on his ult a lot, right? They're like, oh my god, like I'm not immortal for 12 seconds, I hate it. Or like, oh, like he just gives me his damage boost. Like I'd even take an Atom Revive over this. So it's like, would you rather take an Atom Revive once? Rocket revives people every 45 seconds. Maybe try not fucking dying, bro. I don't know, how about that? Also, Rocket's ult is extremely impactful, right? You get 40% more damage and ult charge. That's enough for you to kill through support ults. You can kill through a Luna ult with a Rocket ult if y'all coordinate. It's so good, and people need to get a hang of that. People need to figure that shit out. So, anyway, y'all need to stop shitting on Rocket and just learn how to play the damn game, because it's your fault. Anyway, oops, just accidentally muted my music. Anyway, I need a cough drop and drink water. There we go. All right, Scarlet Witch, Scarlet of the Witch. Low elo, like, this character fucks up low elo. I don't know. Excuse me. Scarlet Witch fucks up low elo. I don't know what to tell y'all. People just in low elo just play her and don't know how to handle her. And I don't know what it is, because like in high elo, she is like here probably. Yeah. I don't really have much to say about that. I think if you know, you know, right? Low elo, she just dominates. High elo, it's like off a cliff. Spider-Man. Low elo, I'd probably put him like here, right? People aren't as great at playing him, but people cannot play against him. High elo, I'd probably put him like at the top of C tier. No, I put him above Black Panther. I'd probably put him here. They're probably mid B tier in both. I think Black Panther's going at the very top of C tier though. Iron Man's above him for sure. Okay, yeah, that looks good to me. Yeah, Spider-Man is just like kind of a mid B tier character. It's really good, but people kind of like figure out how to play against you at some point. I know there's a lot of posts about like, oh my god, I hate Spider-Man, or Spider-Man this, Spider-Man that. I just think at some point people just need to figure out that like, hey, if you're getting dove, do something about it. Tell your team, communicate, use your CC, use an ability, right? I watched this guy post like some clip earlier, like he was playing Venom and then Spider-Man pulled him off the map of Bifrost Garden and he died, and then people were like upset and blah blah. I'm like, Venom has a web swing, why did he not web swing like instead of getting pulled into the void and just letting himself die? Are you kidding me? So many people have abilities to deal with this or have other teammates near them, especially like people, there's like two supports in the backline and then they don't like heal each other, right? It's like you're dying in the backline to a Spider-Man sometimes, and you wouldn't have died if the supports just looked at each other and just healed each other. They wouldn't have died, right? But because they can't communicate or can't do anything, it's just, yeah. Star-Lord, probably put like high A for low elo, right? He requires a little bit of aim, but because of his like AoE, like kind of just like mini Reaper he's got is really good. His invulnerability that reloads him are really good, and while he requires aim, it actually kind of helps with a little bit of auto lock on him, so it's not as bad. He's just really good at putting out consistent damage. And high elo, he's an S tier, one of the top 5 best in the game. His team up with Adam and Mantis is unreal. Just getting a free second life like that is crazy. His ult is extremely good, not just for dealing damage, but also baiting out support ults, right? Sometimes you can Star-Lord ult and bait out their Luna ult or their Loki ult or whatever, which provides immense value to your team because now they are down a support ult and you still have both of yours. Just really, really good. Storm. Low elo Storm is probably here, right? People just kind of don't get her, the way she buffs her team, so she stays up really high for some reason. Doesn't get the value of buffing her team sometimes. People also don't realize the combos that they need to do between her Thunderstorm, her Chain Lightning, and they kind of just don't position well with her because she doesn't have a lot of maneuverability in the air. They don't position well. They just sit out in the open and die, right? High elo though, I would still say she's really good, right? I'd still say she's good. She's definitely fallen off. She's definitely not as good as she was before, especially with the prevalence of Namor, Hela, Star-Lord, Psylocke. Basically, like, the top 5 DPS in the game right now are all good against Storm. So with how good all that is, like, Storm is just not as good in the meta. She's still very solid, though. So just overall, just like A tier, solid A. Squirrel Girl. Low elo dominator, bro. Like, Squirrel Girl kind of like dominates low elo because of her, just the fact that her explosions just do AoE damage. People just like let that shit hit them, and then she has a stun on top of that. She stuns the front line, kills the back line. Her Squirrel Stampede just kills people. Don't know to shoot it, to get rid of it, to get out of its way, to get on a second floor or anything, right? They just let it kill them. Like, Squirrel Girl eats up low ranks. High ranks though, she's like a B tier. She's just alright. She's pretty good. Nothing crazy. I think people sleep on her a little bit, but I think like having great aim and everything that you do at high elo, she can still do some pretty good damage. Punisher. Just solid, right? He's just your solid character, low elo. High elo, like, I'd put him probably just like in the middle of the list, right? He's just pretty good. He's just your standard shooter character. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about him. He's just your standard shooter character who's pretty good for noobs and kind of is okay for the rest of the game, right? The Thing. The Thing in low elo is not that good. People do not understand. The Thing requires a lot of positioning, a lot of tech, a lot of understanding of the battlefield and your allies to utilize properly. People do not have that in low elo. The biggest mistake I see with Thing players is they like dash in, they're pummeling, they're punching, they're dashing. They turn around to look, to jump back to their team because they're getting low, and their team's not there. Because so many times in low elo, a Thing will just overextend. They'll see the fight start, and they will like dash all the way into the back line of their enemy team to kill their support or do something, right? And they just get themselves killed because they have no idea what, like, the relation, distance to their team, positioning, any of that stuff. It's, yeah, just with like, especially with like brawl characters like the Thing and like Hulk and low elo, they're just not as good for low elo players because you really have to rely on your positioning and your team and, you know, all that stuff. Whereas with shield things, you can just hold up a shield, which is why Doctor Strange and Magneto did really well in low elo, in low elo, and Hulk and the Thing are not as great, right? That's why characters like Penny and Groot do pretty well here. Well, characters like Penny do really well here because you kind of sit back and you can place traps and mind stuff. But in high elo, where you understand more about that stuff, Penny doesn't scale as high. Moving on to our next of our tank trifecta, we have Thor. And I think Thor low elo is actually pretty good. He gets a lot of shield from his abilities. He's kind of really good at kind of just bullying front lines with his damage output, his displacement. He's just pretty good. Yeah, high elo, I'd probably put him B. His team up with Hell is nice, but it's just there's so many other tanks you'd rather play probably. He also, like, his ult is really telegraphed and not as impactful. And your damage output, while good enough for low elo to kind of single off targets, is not as great where healing's a little more target and focused. You can't really do that as much. Your displacement is really the best thing about you, where you can displace enemies with your hammer dash, right? But yeah. Oh, I forgot to do the thing at high elo. Whoops. Yeah, no, the thing is really, 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 really good in high elo. Yeah, I'm gonna put him here. He's so good. The positioning, the length of his right click, it's jumping in, jumping out, dash, shield, team up with Invisible Woman. He has a great setup ultimate with Clobber in time. It's so good. Venom. Low elo Venom is fantastic. People love to swing in and out, press your E, do your chain grab, swing out, all that stuff. He's immortal Venom in low tiers. High elo Venom is much better than he was in seasons past. Venom was not that great in some former seasons. I know in season 0, season 1, Venom was not that great in high elo, but now he's actually doing pretty well with some of the buffs he got, and especially dive is not meta, but Venom can do really well, and I probably put him here. Winter Soldier. Just the best DPS in the game. Like, straight up. Low elo, he's still really good because of the size of his projectile box, how much, how easy it is to just start getting that combo loop with him. It's just so good. Yeah. It's just the best DPS in the game. Everything about him is too good, right? And then Wolverine, like, low elo people do not know how to play this guy at all. High elo, like, this guy's just fucking cracked. Alright. Yeah, I think that's it, right? I think that's how I feel about this list, right? This is my tier list for low and high elos. And I think I'm pretty happy with this. Oops, I just got a text from work. Okay, anyway. Thank you, Tunic soundtrack. Tunic Overworld. Let's turn you up a little bit. Yeah, I think this is how I feel. I might make some changes. But yeah, and so you can see, like, in low elo, like, most things are viable, right? Most, like, the A and B tiers are even, the S tiers and C tiers are pretty stacked too. Once you get into high elo, things really kind of put on that curve, right? There's some things that are, like, the S tier is really stacked with a lot of good stuff right now. A and B tier are pretty full as well. But and there's a good amount of stuff in C, D, and F as opposed to, low elo, right? Yeah. All right. Now that we have finished with this, I want to talk about character buffs and nerfs or reworks, right? Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about that. You know what? I'm actually going to take a quick break, actually. I'm going to go ahead and take a little quick break to stretch my legs. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I'm going to go refill my water and stretch my legs before we start talking about buffs and stuff. again. I've got water. I've answered work. That work text I got like 30 minutes ago. Alright. Let's go ahead. Let me switch this back over here. Okay, I am going to edit this. Let's edit what this is. There we go. What am I moving right now? I wanted to move this. There we go. I think that's fine. Alright. I'm going to reset both of these lists now. Alright. Let's go ahead. Why did all this move? Okay, whatever. I'm going to delete row. So this is going to be the buff. And I want buff to be blue. And then you are going to be nerf. And nerf is going to be red. And then you are going to be rework. Oh, that was not capitalized. Rework. And you can be in the light orange. And then you are same. And you can be pink. Alright. Now here on the right, we will do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right. So right now, I want to go through and I want to go ahead and talk about buffs, nerfs, star ratings, right? Because there's a lot of characters in this game that I think could use some tweaks on them. So I would give them like buffs, nerfs, reworks, or anything like that, right? Now, the buff or nerf or anything and stuff like that, it could be with the character themselves, with their kit, with their team up, with any of that stuff, right? And as for the star rating, we'll do that afterwards, or we'll do that first actually. And I'll do that based on how I think that the character should be placed in a difficulty list, right? Let me see if I can actually find a list of, let's see. All rivals, characters, star levels. Here we go. Alright, so here is a list of this current character. Okay, that was kind of a... No, this is just a list. Yeah, I guess I'm fine with this. Alright. I guess I'll just use it. It's super low res. Can I like... can I have this? There we go. That's a little bit easier to see. Zoom in there. Okay, the zoom in is still not great, but anyway. All right. So here's a list of the star ratings. So I'm actually going to change this. Properties. Let's change this to... Oh my gosh, stop. Star rating now. Star, then my star rating. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and probably make this a bit smaller. Okay, still a little too big. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. That is better. Okay, so this is how they are all rated at the moment, and this is what I would probably rate them, right? This is also the old rating. That has... Well, it has Invisible Woman, it just doesn't have the Thing and Human Torch. Let me go look at those actually. Star levels. I'll just go look at the Thing and Human Torch quick on the website, right? Thing is a 1 star, okay. And Human Torch probably a 3 star. Yeah, okay. Okay, fine. Alright. Brother, shut your ass up with that chat message. What do we tweeted? What do we tweeted? Yeah. Anyway. My nose is running. I guess we'll just go alphabetical. Okay. So Adam Warlock says 3 stars here. I would probably put him at a 4 star the way he's at right now. He just requires a little bit more mechanical skill than I think my rivals wanted him, and especially positioning with him is a little bit harder, and because his heals are the only ones that are dead on a cooldown, right? Other characters have healing on a cooldown, like Mantis, but she has ways to work around that, like getting headshots and kills, which can get her healing faster. Adam has his healing on a cooldown and cannot lower that cooldown whatsoever, right? So you really have to think about your resource management, your positioning, your mechanical skill with aiming, your DPS, your positioning when doing your revive, like all that stuff. I think he's probably 4 star, right? Black Panther, I think 4 star is a good place for him, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Black Widow as a 4 star, I think is also... Yeah, because she's just a purely mechanical character, right? She needs that. Like, you have to have only mechanical skills to really make her work. She has a sprint in the E, but like, yeah. Cap at 3 stars is fine. Cloak and Dagger is a 1 star. Or do you not need to work with her? There's a little bit of tech you can learn with her with Cloak, but it's, yeah. Doctor Strange. Yeah, I guess 2 stars is fine. I think Groot is a 3 star for sure. I don't think he's a 2 star. His walls have too much work with positioning and stuff to make it a 2 star. Yeah. Hawkeye is a 5 star, is fine. Hela is a 3 star, which I think is actually alright. Hulk is a 4 star, and that's fine. Human Torch is a 3 star, and I think that's fine. Invisible Woman is like a 2 star, to be honest. They put her in 4 star. I don't think she is. Iron Fist is kind of a 3 star, TBH. Iron Man is not a 2 star. He's really easy. Jeff is easy. Loki, I think, is a 5 star. Luna is 2 star on here. I honestly think 3 with her aiming capabilities you need. Magic as a 4. Magneto is a 2. Mantis, I think, is a 3. I don't think she's a 1. I think that's a big fuck up on the other part. 2. I put Moon Knight at 3. That guy's easy. Namor, yeah, actually in 2. Penny, yes. Psylocke. Yeah, Rocket is 1. Why? Where did they put Rocket on here? Okay, he is 1. I was like, what? So which one? Yeah, Spidey 5. Star-Lord. They put him in 2, but I think this guy's a 3. Storm, I think, is a 4. No, she's a 3. Squirrel Girl's a 1. Punisher's a 1. The Thing, I think, is a 3. Thor is a 4. Venom is a 1. Winter Soldier's a 2. Wolverine is probably like a... yeah, actually a 3. Alright. That's probably where I put them. I think most of them are probably fine, right? I'd say out of the 5 stars that they had, I don't think Psylocke is high enough to be a 5 star. I think she's a little bit... because of her... I think if she was like... she had Hellas projectile with her kit, she'd be a 5 star. But because she has kind of shotgun blast on her butterflies, like it makes it easy enough to where I don't think it is perfectly a 5 star character. So yeah, I think yeah, anyway, sorry, I just kind of lost my train of thought. I saw another work text. Yeah, so I don't think she's 5 stars. I think they probably put her there because a lot of her cooldown management comes from her getting damage and kills, but I don't think that's enough to guarantee a 5 star. I think it's enough for a 4 star, right? She needs a lot of positioning, damage, kills, and all that stuff like that. I think that makes sense for a 4 star, but not a 5 star. Spider-Man and Hawkeye, though, I'd see it for them. Spider-Man just really mechanically needs a lot of like combo presses and everything, and then for Hawkeye, just with like his aiming and everything, also needs 5. Let's see what's up in here. So Adam, I think I already talked about him. Black Widow and Black Panther were in there. Hulk is in there. Magic, I think, just needs more as a brawl character. Brawls are always going to be a little bit harder, and especially with some of the tech that Magic needs to make work when you have to decide between doing your whirlwind slash and your little demon pop out, especially because some of her things need very precise stuff, right? When you press her E where she dashes in with her sword to uppercut someone, has to be very on point with your aiming on that. Her Dark Child doesn't give you regen or heal your HP or whatever, but you really go in there, so it needs a little more. Penny, I agree with. Thor, I moved up because you really have to, it's resource management with those Thor Force hammers, and you don't, regen those as fast as like Mantis regens her leaves, right? It takes a bit for him to regen his Thor Force. If you're, and you have only your E to help you, do more energy acceleration with that, right? Excuse me. And so you have to do some resource management as a tank, a brawling tank. It makes it kind of difficult, right? Loki moved up to 5 star. I don't think this needs an explanation, but the way you have to manage his clones, his positioning, his rune, and everything needs a lot of it is very difficult and challenging and needs a lot of work, right? Moving down, the Cap is still here. I will go by this actually, right? So Cap is still here. Groot, I've moved up from 2, right? I said, with learning his walls and his positioning and stuff, the fact that he also has no movement just requires more. I think he's a 3 star. I don't think he's a 2 star. Hela, still here. I think that makes sense, right? She requires some more mechanical skill than a 1 or 2 star, but she does so much damage that it's not a 4 or 5 star, right? Human Torch is here in 3 star still. Yeah. Iron Fist I moved down because while it's a brawl character, it kind of has that auto lock feature, which doesn't make it as difficult as a 4 star, especially because you have a lot of means for escape and regen. I don't think it's as difficult as Magic. Luna Snow, I moved up from 2 because she requires a little bit more aim and precision and decision making with her as opposed to like a 2 star character, right? In which I kind of swapped her, moved Invisible Woman down because of that, whereas Invisible Woman doesn't need as much aim precision and has a lot of tools at her disposal to help her in fights. the psionic burst, pushing and pulling, deployable shield, but she has a lot of tools, which probably pushed her into 4 stars. Like, you have so many tools and you have so many decisions to make, but having a lot of tools doesn't equal having a lot of difficulty. She has a lot of tools, which makes it easier to play her, as opposed to something like Luna, where you don't have as many tools. You really just have to aim really well, and be very precise and make decisions on, when do I cast up my freeze CC, when do I put on my self regen mode, all that stuff. Mantis gets moved up. Her resource management, right? She's simple to play, like, initially you think, and then you realize, I don't have enough healing for my team. I can't do enough. And that's when you realize, oh my gosh, I have to do resource management. I have to be precise. I have to get kills and headshots and that stuff to make Mantis really work, right? That's why she's in 3-star. Star-Lord, same thing, just very fast-paced gameplay, really intuitive, aim-centric. I don't know why I said intuitive, but just very fast-paced, very aim-centric, very kind of difficult to pick up and master, right? Storm is still here. The thing I moved up, right, as a one, I don't think he's a 1-star. I think, like, if you're doing a 1-star tank, that's something that you can easily stay alive. You can easily solo tank with. Thing, you can't do either one of those things. Venom, you can very easily stay alive, get yourself in and out of battle, and press E to double your HP based off HP loss. These guys have shields and can have survivability. The Thing really is reliant on his teammates, his allies, his positioning, his ult charges, all that kind of stuff. Not a 1-star. And then Wolverine, I kept there, it's fine. Strange still here. Invisible Woman moved down. I just talked about her. Magneto is still here. Mr. Fantastic, I moved down. He has a lot of tools, kind of like Invisible Woman. It doesn't make him harder though. He has survivability and a lot of HP, ways to bulk up himself. Really not that bad. Moon Knight, same thing. He's very simple to play. You throw down an Ankh. He's got a lot of tools, but half of them are just easy movement stuff, right? And some of them are just like, and he has icons down there for like his glide, but that's not really like it's just a glide, right? He's got a lot of stuff at the bottom of his screen, but not a lot of actually things doing. You really just throw down an Ankh, right click, left click, right? Namor's still here. He places down turrets. He's very simple to get value out of. Same thing with Winter Soldier. I moved him down because his projectiles are so big, very easy to get value out of. Kidnap somebody with your hook, just shoot, right? You reset your you reload every time you use an ability. So you use like hook, shoot, E, shoot, or uppercut, shoot, E, shoot, something. Yeah, I don't know. Cloak and Dagger move down just because you have a lot of abilities doesn't mean you're hard to play. Cloak and Dagger is like left click simulator. Every once in a while you E or right click, right? Iron Man, I also moved down very easily, kind of just maneuver, like press shift to get fly places, and then you just kind of repulsor blast a bunch, you kind of beam a bunch, but it's pretty simple. Jeff and Rocket are still here, very simple healers, right? The kind of like low skill ceiling, very easy to pick up. It's like most characters are here, they have that kind of same gap between skill floor and skill ceiling, but they just start here where it's very easy to pick up, and their skill ceilings here, right? Scarlet Witch and Squirrel Guard here, very easy to, and Punisher, very easy to get value with them. Turret and shoot, AoE explosion, auto lock, yeah, and then Venom, right? So yeah, I think that's probably like fair, yeah. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on now back here to the buffs and nerfs list, and I'm gonna go ahead and full screen this. Let's go ahead. Here, let me select the group actually. Let's put you on here. I'll minimize you, maximize you, and then we can go do that. Hey, come on, man. There we go. Alright, let's close that off. Alright. Now we are full screened and everything. Let's talk about oh, let me make sure this is good. Alright, there we go. Alright. Let's go ahead and talk about buffs and nerfs. Things I would like to see for characters. I'm excited to talk about this. Work text. Yeah. Anyway. Phantom Venom. Let's get myself a drink of water. Remember, stay hydrated. Got myself a cough drop. Alright. Alright. Yeah, let's just get right into this. Alright. Adam Warlock. I want to see a buff on him, right? Alright. Anyway, Adam, I want to see buff, right? I either want to see a 1 second less cooldown on his chain heals, or on his ult when he revives people, revive them based off like a percentage health, right? Instead of just healing them all at like 100 HP, revive them on like a percentage health, right? Like 50%, 40%, something like that. I don't know, right? Or make it so that when he does his ult and revives people, all his cooldowns refresh, right? Whether it's his soul bond or his like chain heals or whatever. Like if he's out of chain heals and soul bond and then he presses revive, it refreshes all his cooldowns, kind of like Black Panther's ult does, right? Any of those three I think would be good. I think that last one is kind of what I want to see the most, right? When you revive, you can refresh. You can like revive, soul bond, heal, and people don't just die immediately after being revived, right? Yeah. Black Panther, I think we could say the same. Black Widow, I think, needs a buff. I think her little grapple kick is like on a 15-second cooldown right now, and I think it needs to be a lot shorter of a cooldown. Yeah. Yeah, I think it needs to be on a shorter cooldown. I would also think it'd be cool if on her batons, right? If you attack with her batons, this is just like out of the box, right? So buff here, just at least for the cooldown on that E for her other kit, because that's really all she has. She has the E, she has her sprint, and she has just shooting, right? She has her melee batons, which are technically her primary, despite them never being used. I think the way you could see use is if you make them shock batons, right? And if you hit somebody, there's like a cooldown on them, obviously, kind of like a normal stun cooldown. But if you hit somebody with them, it stuns them, right? Let me sneeze real quick. Sorry about that. Wow. Oh shoot, I don't have a box of tissues in my room. Oh man. I do not have tissues. I need to get a tissue box. Because holy moly. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, getting back to it. If we could turn those batons into shock batons with like maybe the shock has like a 8 or 10 second cooldown between how frequently they can stun somebody, and it can kind of just be like a. Now, I don't know if you want to make it like a typical stun, like Mantis stun, where you can still hit them, or if you want to make it like a Hulk stun, where it stuns them and only like Hulk can hit them out of it. Maybe Black Widow stuns them and only Black Widow can hit them out of it or something. I don't know, right? I think that could be interesting to give her a little bit of a buff, especially in those close range fights, right? Give her a little bit of extra oomph, right? Especially because as an assassin or something like that, it can make sense to be like those, like just like a taser, like a shock baton, right? I say you could do a stun, like because she is kind of like an assassin or an infiltrator. I know there's some comics that have used her kind of her femme fatale role to be a seductress to kind of maneuver her way into societies and organizations, right? But I don't think the way Marvel Rivals is, I don't think they'd probably like seduce anybody with her. I think more the shock batons would be the way to go, and that would actually give use to those batons because they really just don't have much, right? Sorry. And maybe it's a thing, maybe hear me out on this. Actually, I think I made up my mind. It's kind of like Mantis Sport where it stuns them for a bit, Or somebody, like if somebody starts hitting them, it'll kind of break that stun a little bit, right? But it can be like the shock baton stun them, and then if she hits them again with the shock batons while they're stunned, it'll do additional damage on top of it, right? So maybe, how much does it do? I'm gonna go ahead and pause real quick while I open this up. Let's see. Here you go, Marvel Rivals Wiki, and I'm gonna look at Black Widow. Abilities. Yeah, because even on the wiki, right? Or yeah, even here on the wiki, her bite batons are literally, the description for them are strike with enhanced electric batons. They're already like shock batons, so why not give them an actual shock factor, right? So they do 45 damage, right? Let's switch back over in here. All right, so they already do 45 damage. Okay. So I think like if you hit them with 45, right? Like boom boom, right? And then it stuns them in place, right? You hit them again, boom boom. It does that 45 and then like an additional like 55 damage on top of it, right? To just round out to 100. So you can do like a 45, 100. So that's, you know, you hit them with like the 145, they're down, and then that's enough to kind of put some squishies out of, you know, put some squishies down with just a shot from her rifle. But then it can become a thing where if you're doing, let me look at her E, right? 35-second kick. Where's there? Okay, 35 damage each, right? 35, 35, 70, right? And then you could do like 45 plus 100, so like 70, 105. No, 115. Yeah, 215, right? Yeah. So like going from that, like if somebody gets close or you shoot them or something, and then you could go like E, it stuns them. E, you grapple in for a second kick, then shock baton hit, right? And that stuns them. Then the second shock baton hit with bonus damage, right? That can be enough to kill for like a one-on-one. I think that would be really cool. So anyway, let's go ahead, go back to the character list in case I need it again. All right. Anyway, I think that could be cool if you made the shock batons actually do a, you hit them, they do like a 3-second stun. If you hit them again, they do an extra 55 damage on top of the 45 they originally do, right? And that makes a combo. Like if somebody dives you, you can shoot them even if it's not like scoped or point, you know, just a point blank shot, and then you can E, right? So that will kick and stun them. While they're stunned, it's only a 1-second stun, so that's just enough to swap to your batons. Then you press E again to pull and kick them in. Then you immediately hit batons to stun them, and then you baton again to do damage, and that should be like enough to kill like a 250 squishy, right? If they dive you, right? I think that's cool. I think that's probably good, and that's really like if they really get up in your space and want to like dive you like that, right? And I think like if you're doing that, they're walking into a 1v1 when you have capabilities for that. I think that'd be a cool change, right? I think some people might argue it's overpowered, but it's not overpowered like one-shots across the map. If you're one-shotting across the map, that's really powerful, right? This is like they've chosen to get in a battle with you, right? Anyway, Captain America, I put in buff. No cooldown on bringing up his shield. Makes it really weird. Also fix it, because I think right now if he's walking backwards with the shield up, some projectiles still go through his shield. It's really weird. So fix that. Other than that, like I would probably put a little bit more damage on his like his charge. I think his shield throws are fine and everything. His melees are good. I think his dash just needs a bit more damage. I think that's good though. And maybe on his dash when he hits people with it, just doing like a little bit more knockback to them would be cool. Just having like a little arc of knockback in front of the shield, like a little AoE kind of knockback thing for people in front of a shield when he does that dash. Cloak and Dagger, I think they're fine right now. Doctor Strange, I think is fine right now. Groot, I would probably nerf his uh they nerfed how far he could place his walls at right now. I probably bring them back in by 1 or 2 meters. They upped it by 3 meters. I might bring it back in by 1 or 2, just or 1.5 or something like that, just as a small nerf to his capabilities because he's the best tank of the game right now. He's kind of dominating a lot of stuff. So yeah, you know what, guys? I need a tissue so bad. So yeah. I'm gonna go grab myself a tissue box. This is awful. Alright, Channington, we're back with the tissue box. It is. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that sneeze I had a little bit ago, that hurt. Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna mute while I blow my nose. Okay. Woo. Alright, I feel better. I feel better. Wow. Alright, we're back. Well, while we are back, let's go ahead and take a look at Hawkeye. I think this guy needs a full rework, and a lot of people have said it. His big things in movies and comics and stuff were not just being like, hey, it's a guy that, you know, shoots arrows the end, but it was his innovation with the arrows, right? His trick arrows, the things, the maneuvers he used, and the actual things he used. I think they don't really utilize the scroll wheel except for pings much in this game, right? A lot of characters kind of have a primary and that's it, right? Black Widow has her batons and a rifle. Some characters have two things they can switch between, but like Punisher has a shotgun and his auto rifle, but like, and Hawkeye, like, I think what they need to do is they just need to make a scroll wheel his different arrows, right? And they need to give him, instead of just making him just a basic snipe headshot character, with some extra blast arrows on the side, they need to just give him his bow and his sword as his stuff, right? And then they need to, instead of having like a separate shot for his blast, like just having his blast arrows do his own little thing, I think he needs to have a whole like scroll wheel, like 3 or 4 different types of arrows, right? That all do different things, right? I think for the blast arrows, like, they need to not be so spread out. I think they need to be like, the 3 of them need to go out pretty like much together and do some better AoE damage. I think he can have some like just trap arrows, stuff to like put on the floor. Maybe have some like caltrops, right? If they're leaning into more the Ronin, or, you know, kind of like Ronin and assassin type vibe that they're going for, give him like some caltrops and stuff to lay on the floor in some places to put some like traps down, kind of like Penny, right? Just like that could be interesting. But just give him some more like trick arrows, whether they are some damage over time arrows could be cool, like some poisoned arrows, right? Shoot people and they can do some like damage over time for 5 seconds. I don't know. I think they could be cool. They had a lot to explore with him, and they kind of just went with shooty McShooter bow guy, right? Hela, I think she just needs a small nerf. I don't really know what it is. Maybe it's back to what she was in season 1, 1.0. Maybe it's I don't know, man. Just overall damage rework. I don't know. I think she just needs a little bit of something. Hulk. Hulk is honestly fine, I think. He's outclassed by the Thing, but... yeah. Human Torch, I think, needs a rework. I don't know. Not just in his personality, because I think his personality in-game leans a lot more towards, like, the cocky side. And I kind of want to see more of his, like, just happy-go-lucky side instead of his cocky side, you know? But also, like, in the way his kit synergize together, doesn't really, right? He kind of wants to sit far away behind cover and spam his, like, his zoning on the ground, his flame pools, and then his barriers. But then his fire is like a shotgun primary, which you want to be up close for. And then he dives in with F, but he has no maneuverability to get out, right? So there's one or two ways I go. They either need to give him Iron Man shift, right? Give him Iron Man's shift, and whenever he's flying like that, he has a damage hitbox on him, kind of like the Thing's dash, right? He can keep his F, he can keep his shotgun fire, right? And then he his right click, instead of being zoning stuff, can be either like a make a flame, kind of be like a two-handed like flame. No, because that's just Iron Man. What am I talking about? I don't know, because you want like Iron Man maneuverability, and then F shotgun primary, maybe like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, man. I don't really know how I'd rework him to go more into that primary damaging option, one where he's a little bit more up close and personal without it feeling a little too much like Iron Man, right? Maybe he does something where he gives himself like a little flame barrier or something. Like whenever he dashes, whenever he gets out of his dash, he has a flame barrier around himself for a little bit, which, and he can, I don't know. And then when he has that flame barrier, he can like have a button to kind of explode it and do like an AoE kind of like flame explosion to set people on fire. Could be interesting. Or if you want to go more toward the zoning type, which I would, because I would think we need a few more zoners in the game, right? You keep his little fire pools on the ground, you keep his way to make barriers with his E. You change his primary fire, I guess. Just make it a more focused fireball, right? Instead of making it a bunch of little fireball shots, just make it one larger projectile that's one focused fireball, right? That can it doesn't need to have like an AoE blast, kind of like Iron Man's repulsor. It doesn't need to have that, but just something that's more accurate, right? And then you could still have his flight be the same way it is. Else you could make his. You have an ability where he can like. I don't know. I don't like that. I'm just trying to come up with ideas for how I would like to see him be rigged. I just think he has two different kits fighting each other right now. One of them wants to be up close and personal, the shotgun primary, the F meteor crash, the slow flight. But then like some of the other ones are trying to be far away, like the slow flight speed and the zoning right click and E, right? I don't know how, but I want them to choose one or the other. I don't like that they're mixed. Invisible Woman can stay the same. A lot of people complain that she can't put the shield on herself. I think that'll make her OP. She does not need self-healing on top of all the tools she already has. Iron Fist needs a rework. He needs to go back to how he was, and they need to focus on his 1v1 capabilities and his backline diving and his ability to shred squishies, not tanks. Iron Man is fine. Honestly, I think Jeff is fine for now. The way DPS Jeff has shaped out, you know, as a 2.5 strategist DPS, you know, he's half and half. I think he's fine as is. Loki too, I think he's in a good spot. Luna, I think needs a nerf. Just to take her ult from 12 seconds down to like 10 seconds, I think is fine. Compensate her by making her free CC go from 12-second cooldown to a 10-second cooldown as well. But I think overall she's still good. I think you just need to nerf her ult length by just a couple seconds. I think that's fine. I don't think we need to like remove it from the game or anything. Just down a bit, you know. Magic. I think like keep her the same. The only thing I'd say with her is I want her E when she charges to do the uppercut. The hitbox on it is set a bit to the right of people. If it could just like even out the hitbox, so even if people are a bit left, they don't miss it completely. Mag I think is good. Mantis, give her back her season 0 speed. Yeah, and maybe make her burst healing that she gives people percentage based, right? So she's not as useless with tanks. Mr. Fantastic needs his rework. He needs his, no, not a rework actually. His kit is fine. It just needs to be buffed. The Moon Knight needs a buff. I think give him 2 onks instead of just 1 at a time. 1 on like a 10-second cooldown. Allow him to hold up to 2 onks at a time because he can place up 2 onks at a time. So kind of like name more squids where he can hold 2 at a time. Give that to Moon Knight for his onks. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. Namor, slight nerf to him. I don't really know what. It might just be his like maybe the squid health, or maybe his put his health to 250. I don't know. Penny needs a big buff. Yeah, and I was looking back at all the characters I ranked. I think this is the only one where the first one where I'm actually going to talk about their ults, right? Penny is alright. I need her F. I need her web, hook, and grapple to work all the time. There's so many times where I press F to like use her web grapple to maneuver somewhere. Excuse me. Oh, and it hits and I don't get pulled there. Like the web just snaps for some reason, right? It doesn't like, it's really weird. I don't like it. They fixed a bug with her mines, but I'd allow her to carry 6 mines instead of 4 at a time, because her either that or up the damage of her primary fire. Either one, because she does not output a lot of damage. So either allow her to carry up to 6 mines at a time, or increase the damage of her primary fire. And what they really need to do is really buff her her ult, right? Now, if they're keeping the same ult, do this, right? Do not have an option for a right click to place down spider mines. I think the spider mines need to just be automatically placed on her ult. They just need to automatically get thrown out, and the spiders coming out of her nest should have an increased rate of spawn to follow her, right? Then her spider sweep, I should just be able to hold that down and it just auto hit whoever's near me, right? I feel like while she's dashing like this, it should be like the Things dash where it just knocks people out of the way. I shouldn't be stopped by just running into somebody, like, you know, like an invisible woman, just stop by just running into her, right? The webs that she places down, even after the ult ends, those webs should linger on the ground for about 10 seconds before, you know, like 8, 10, somewhere around there, seconds before they disappear completely, right? Yeah. Now, if they want to change her ult, then that's a different story, right? Because let me think. Okay, so like the other thing it could be, right, is like if you combined her ult right now with like a Spider-Man ult in a sense, right? Like if she ulted, right? This would be like an idea for changed ult, right? If Penny ulted and she said it's spider time, and instead of like doing her dash and running around spreading all the webs, she just does an AoE like just blast, and like 360 webs go out like in a sphere, right? Anybody who gets hit by them gets immobilized like CC like she does, and fall down like her normal web, right? Just for like that short CC time, right? They get that, and it launches out like just a bunch of mines all at once, right? Yeah, I think you could also do something like that, right? Where like if you are in the middle of a fight, or you are holding a point, or you're just something like that, it just kind of like as a zoner, it just kind of makes that zone yours, because it spreads your web all over that whole place. And because she shoots that web, it'd just be one big web over that whole area. I think that web should stay there for like, you know, like 20 seconds or something like that. And so if your spider nest is nearby, like anybody on that web can get damaged by things from the spider nest, right? I think that could also be interesting. Psylocke, I think, could be the same. Rocket, I think, could be the same. Scarlet Witch, I'd probably buff her ult so that you get maybe a movement speed buff while you're doing it, because she just slowly moves into frame while she does it. It could make it a little bit more reliable if she can kind of swoop in. It doesn't need to be like screaming across the map into the enemy team, but just like a 15% movement speed boost while she is doing that, so she's just not immobile and doing nothing while she's screaming at the top of her lungs, because it's just a huge detriment for her to have a giant red exclamation point and be screaming, right? Everybody knows what's happening, right? Even with the extra overshield, like she still gets killed or CC'd out of it really quickly. So giving her a little bit movement speed might give her a chance to dodge a CC or to get into position better with, you know, with less risk, right? Let me think. Spider-Man, just a nerf on that uppercut. The uppercut hitbox is fucking crazy. It's like a 360 sphere that hits out so far. I lowered the radius of that sphere that it hits in, and I'd probably make it to where it does a 180 for whatever's in front of him. Like, I know it's because they did it because it's hard for him to, like, with how fast he's moving, to aim directly at somebody and uppercut them specifically, right? But like, you should still be in their general direction, right? I should like have a 180. Anybody in front of this 180, you know, gets hit by the uppercut, but so people behind you don't just get uppercut for no reason in a sphere. It's crazy. Star-Lord, honestly, I think is okay. So Storm, Squirrel Girl seems fine. Punisher seems fine. So does the Thing. Thor, I would give a small buff. I'd probably make it so his hammer throw could synergize a little bit better. That's the thing. I've been learning Thor, and like it feels pretty fluid now as compared when they switched how his cooldowns works, his Thor Force. So it feels pretty fluid now, going from his you know, awakened state, you know, blah blah blah, then you launch forward, pop your E, get back in your awakened state again. The one thing that I never use on him is his right click. His hammer throw just doesn't get used. So I don't know if that should just be changed to be on its own cooldown, but I know they're trying to have everything on the Thor Force cooldown, right? So like, maybe, hear me out here. Maybe it needs to be a thing where it costs a Thor Force to use that hammer throw, right? But it doesn't take away that cost until after it registers if it hit or not, right? So if I use the hammer throw and it hits somebody, it doesn't cost that, you know, like little, it doesn't cost a Thor Force, right? Every time Thor uses an ability, though, it has like a 2-second cooldown, right? Like if I dash for the displace, I can't use that for 2 seconds. If I hammer throw, I can't use it for 2 seconds, right? I think for the hammer throw, if I throw the hammer and I miss, cost me a Thor Force. If I throw the hammer and it hits, and then it just doesn't cost a Thor Force. and then I still can't use that hammer throw, so I can't just spam hammer throw, hammer throw, hammer throw. I still can't use it for a couple seconds, but it doesn't cost me to use it, which lets me still kind of use that hammer throw in the meantime, building up Thor Force to either enter an awakened state or do a dash or something like that, right? I think that could be interesting, right? Especially because that hammer throw doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It just helps you get that little poke, right? To finish somebody off or do one thing or another. So I think it could be important. Venom, I think, is good. Winter Soldier needs a nerf. I think bring his initial HP probably down to 250. His initial down to 250. And I would probably decrease the amount of shield he gets from his abilities, right? Because the thing with Winter Soldier is that whenever he uses an ability, he reloads. And whenever he successfully hits said ability or whatever, he gets shield for it, right? He gets a lot of shield, so I'd probably decrease the amount of shield he gets, but I wouldn't take away his reload. I wouldn't take away the whole shield because it's part of his identity. It's part of his gameplay flow, so I wouldn't take it all. I might just decrease the projectile sides a tiny bit, and then just reduce the amount of shield he gets from those abilities, and bring his initial HP down to 250 instead of 275. And then Wolverine, I don't know, maybe a slight nerf so he's not banned all the time. I don't know what, just something tiny so he's not always banned. Anyway, I need to see these again. Alright, I'm alive. Oh, goodness. So yeah, I think that's probably where I'd leave it. Oh, also Thor's ult. It needs to be changed. It's too telegraphed, too easy to kill him when he's in it, too easy to escape it. I don't know. It needs something a little bit different. I have no idea what it is. My eye, dude. I got something in it. You know what? How about this, right? Okay, so his when he uses his thing, it gives a slow to everybody in the radius of his ult, right? Maybe instead of a radius slow, or maybe it has a radius slow, but it also has an effect like Invisible Woman's psionic burst, where if it can draw people into the center. So not only is it slowing you, it's pulling you towards the center of it, right? Then let's do this. Let's make because it does okay damage, maybe bump the damage up a bit, but it has like a little radius for how big the ult is, right? Let's say the radius is this for a normal ult, right? How about that radius increases per Thor Force you have, right? So one Thor Force is a normal radius, but if you've got 2, 3 Thor Force, that radius for that ult just increases in size. So if you manage to get in their back line, like let's say you shift and you push into their team, then you press E, get your Thor Force back, then press Q and ult on top of them, right? Yeah. And then maybe by drawing somebody into that bubble, you get your Thor Force back, right? And then you have 3 Thor Force, you crash in, then you can awaken state from there. Like, I think that could be good if that radius kind of gets boosted by, you know, how much Thor Force you have when you press Q or press your ult button. Besides that, I think this is good, so I'm happy with this. Yeah, I think this is good. Let me look. Take a look at my phone real quick, see what time it is and what's going on. Okay. Just chilling. Alright. Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. It's been like 2.5 hours. Do I want to take a break from tier list and just play something for a bit? I think maybe. Okay. Da, 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 da. All right. That we will. That we will. I am closing this. What to play? It's over here. You know what? Marvel Rivals, maybe? You know what, actually? You know what I do want to do? I think I want to play some Minecraft. There you go. Alright, let's do that, and then I'm actually going to go over here to my GX control. I'm going to go ahead and actually limit 10. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and close that. Alright. Let me sneeze again. Alright, I'm alive again. Alright, let's switch into game. Hello? There we go. Alright. Okay. Will this connect? Question mark? I really hope this connects at some point. Hello? Chat. Why? Why? Why won't you connect? Come on. Okay, this is really bugging me. Damn. This is so frustrating. Let me turn my fan. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and open up my world and see if things will start working once I load in properly and all that stuff. I don't know. Because it's really kind of frustrating that things are not loading in. Okay, let this load. Okay, and then I need to figure out why nothing is being recorded over here. Maybe I need to add in a display capture. And it needs to just be that. Move you down to the bottom. Oh, I do not want a display capture. That's actually the wrong thing. I meant window capture. Move you down here. Well, that's not what I'm looking for either. Goodness. Because that one's not even saying that I could. Maybe let me look at the properties on this. Hello? Anything? Oh, that is quite frustrating. Okay, I really don't want to have to do a display capture, but I might just have to. Put that there at the bottom. Just like that. All right. Hello? I might hold up. This is really bugging me at the moment. What the? If I do this, okay, well that works. I'm tweaking, chat. I'm actually tweaking. You know what? Let me try opening another game and seeing if I can capture that game. Let me see if Geometry Dash will be captured. Oh, that's why. That's why. That's why nothing is showing up, bro. Because it's like rotated half off screen. What the f... Okay, bro. Okay, we'll close Geometry Dash. Okay, so now if I do this and I say capture specific window and I'm like, I want you to capture Cobblemon. And I want you to open Cobblemon so I can play Cobblemon. Will you show up? Okay, so we are just still not loading though. Okay. No, that's fine, man. That's fine. How about this? Oh, wait. Let's go. Options, video settings. What if we can turn off full screen? Will this break anything? Alright, and then we can open. And then capture specific window. Cobblemon. Can we? Yeah, yes, no, maybe so. Hello? Anything? Hello? Whoa. This is very frustrating. I think it should be capturing if it goes to any full screen application, but it's just not. Which is a shame because I wanted to play a little bit of this. Well, that's fine or whatever, I guess. And turn that off and turn that on. Maybe turn this on. Okay, you know what? That's just what it's gonna have to be. Where's my mouse? Hello? Oh my god, this is the laggiest thing of all time. Okay, you know what? Actually, I just can't see my mouse anymore. Oh, okay, and the game is also just not being played. Okay, so the game is also just not being played over on the left. Hello? What the fuck is happening? Oh my god, I'm freaking out, brother. Let me... Oh, wait. Let's see. Let's make you like, I don't know. I need a button for this. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, let's try this. Right? If I open this, let me try that. This is so sad. This is really upsetting. Damn. Hello, Centrit. Okay, there's literally nothing that is happening that is able to get me to do this. Oh my god. This is so annoying. Alright, well. That means that is just not happening. That's unfortunate. I actually really wanted to play. Well, dude, it's almost 6 actually. It's been almost 3 hours. I mean, 20 minutes of struggling with that, but I might just play something simple and then log off for today, to be honest. It's, because I do have other things I need to do today, so I might just play something simple and just chill out. Let's see. What to do instead? You know what? You know what? I should still have all my stuff, right? I had to reinstall Steam recently, so I just need... Okay, yeah. No, yeah, and I forgot. I don't have everything on here because I have Completionist Plus Plus on my iPad, but not here. Alright, we'll just go for some good stuff. Hollow Mega Arcana. Guys? Why is my game speed? Guys, why is my game speed nil? What the fuck? My game speed, I was like, wow, this Mega Arcana pack drew really fast. Maybe it's because my game speed is nil. What? Let's go ahead and start thinning out the deck. Yeah, I forgot this was a Mega Arcana. Let's also, I want to, no. Customize deck, yeah. What have we got now? Yeah, I want to slay the princess. Yeah, Bugsnax. Vampire Survivors. Yeah, I want Vampire Survivors. And then Civ 7. What does Star do? Yeah, there we go. I'll go with that. Alright. Wow. This is moving really fast. I am actually going to need this if I'm going to re-roll off of the plant later. I want a straight. Okay, I guess I could settle for a full house. That's fine with me. Okay, I want to buy paintbrush. Doubles money. Yeah, I'll take that, especially with the pillar. And then tacking. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. Do this. And then some 6, 5, 4, 3. There we go. I'm happy with that. Alright, now we need to buy a joker. Oh my god. Too good to me, game. You're too good to me. Alright. And then the 50 extra chips. That's really nice. Yep, because that'll get me through the blind with a straight. 4K, I can do that. So, go ahead and get a full house. Okay, that just won me right off the bat. Oh my, okay, hold up, I'm sitting up in my chair. The entire atmosphere just changed when I drew that Baron. Please, 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 please. Okay, okay. It's just a... Oh, no, but that's good. That's good. Put that on a king. Okay, I'll level up a straight for now. First hand drawn face down. 0, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. 5. That's at least a full house right there. Right, and then I want to get a straight. So 10. Let's go ahead and drop y'all. King through 10. So I'm probably gonna want to go ahead and get rid of y'all. Well, not the 8, right? King, queen, jack, 10. No, I can get rid of the 8. I'll get rid of the heart. There we go. And then straight is leveled up. Okay, and then we get a Saturn. That's good. Kind of just need to do my blinds. It's fine. Queens and sevens. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, yeah, there we go. And you know what? I don't have to, but I was gonna glass, but I can save that for an emergency. It's fine. Yeah, I can go ahead and use that. Scary face is actually good. Go ahead and put that there. What blind am I on? Okay, I got that one upcoming. I kind of want this. I would love to have a negative Baron, but I would really hate to have a negative Scary Face and lose the hand size. I don't want to risk it. That's my only thing. If I was on my iPad, I could close the app and refresh, but I can't do that on Steam necessarily. Let's go ahead and get a full house out of the way. Okay, and then I can go ahead and get a straight from that. Or I could just get like a full house with queens and jacks, actually. Or I could kill myself. The 2 pair will be enough anyway. Who am I kidding? Yeah. Alright. Let's get that. Check out 7 and get the blank and move on. Okay, and then I kind of want to start off with a straight here, to be honest. Where's the 5? Either that or like a full house. There we go. Let me actually roll, see if I can get a full house of that. There we go. There you go. Right there. I want that king. Perfect. Okay. Then cash out. Full. I will buy a full and hold on to it. Hold on to my money. Okay. Let's just go for face cards. I know we got a straight right there. There you go. That's good. Just going for face cards. Just need face cards. Yeah, honestly, just do this. Just want another queen or jack. Okay, game, kill yourself. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna actually go ahead and like justice this one because I have a feeling that queen is gonna be useful later. I'm not king this, so I have room enough for a 2 pair like little like thing afterwards, so I can use this. Cash out. Death, that's what I need. Alright. Yes, please. And I'll get you for some extra chips. Face card drawn face down is kind of sucky, but I should just keep going. So unfortunately I won't get that tarot. Okay, I just need to keep going until I can play like a bunch of face cards, right? There we go. Just to guarantee I at least have some kind of hand. Alright, that's fine. I can do that. Just free. If I can get a mime sometime soon would be really awesome. Free rare joker. Okay, I'm going to start duplicating this one. So I can just start making more kings, right? Maybe like a 3 of a kind. How much mults do I get with just this? Just as a full house. There we go. Yeah, okay. That's pretty cool. Ugh, not ancient joker. Fuck that guy. 17 bucks. I'll take that. You know what? Let's sell you to buy you to sell you, and then buy you. 4 fingers. Okay. Decrease level of poker hand played. I don't care. Any face cards? Because that's okay. Whatever. $42. Okay, and then I can get a straight from here. It's fine. Okay, that's good. And then we buy one of these. Then you get a mime with that uncommon Joker voucher. I had to sneeze again. And again. Okay. Kind of interested to see how high card this would be. I probably just lost myself right there. I could play a flush 5 here, honestly. This, maybe the 3. Do I win if I just? No, I don't think so. I think I might have to flush 5 to win here, or 5 of kind. Yeah. Does not do much for me. Probably better off selling this. Okay, now we're talking. But I need a good. Yeah, I'll take you for now. Fuck you. Yeah, I'm done here, man. This shit was fucking ass. Yeah. Did not have a good run on this one. New run. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I don't care. Give me a full house with those 10s and 9s. Here we go. Oh, hi. All right. You're buying a sell, buying use for high cards. What's in here? Bloodstone could be okay. And then I'll moon because I hate diamonds. This is actually pretty good. I'll buy and use this, and if I can just go for hearts, this could be alright. Yeah. And just going for like a hearts flush could be good. If I can get hearts. Okay, maybe not. No, that's fine. Yeah. What have we got? No, I should make things into hearts for my build. This, I'll go take a full house, I guess. Alright, spectral pack, take those. Need hearts. Okay, there we go. That's good. Okay, photographs, alright. Death is good. And then we'll look for, I guess high card's fine. Do need that special pack, so I don't want to skip that. Okay, there's some hearts. Okay. Nothing I really want. That was not good. There you go. Oh, yeah, going for a X-Molt run at the very beginning with this deck is not the way to go. I'll do one more. I'll do one more. I'm gonna go for straight flush. Man. That is a buy for sure. What are all my blinds? Okay, buffoon pack for now. I'll take hearts, and then I need to buy that voucher as a must buy. I'll get heart flushes to start off the run just like last time. Okay. Okay, and I need to buy you. Unfortunately, can't buy that pack. Spade card. I could have sold, I guess, my Joker to buy that, but you know, whatever. Alright. Blank voucher's good. We buy that. Oh my god. Alright, there you go. These are both alright. I'll take both of them. Need that. That's good. I guess I could take you. That's crazy, bro. Fucking could not draw flush or... yeah. Okay, I've been streaming for a while. I think I'm chilling. I think I am chilling. Let's see. I don't really know if I want anything else today. I'm chilling. I'm a little hungry. Yeah, I think I'm done for today. Alright, well anyway, thanks for everybody who stopped by, anybody who watched or anything. Yeah. So, yeah. Unfortunately, could not play Cobblemon. That did not work out. I'll try and see if I can get that working or not, because I do want to play Cobblemon. Been playing a lot of it recently. Probably next stream will be like on Tuesday next week. I'll probably just play some stuff, maybe get back in that Pokemon challenge, and then Wednesday next week, Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2, so be here for that. Anyway, bye.